Hey y'all, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. So today's gonna be a long one. I'm just letting you know already. Go ahead and get your whatever you drink, you know. This is chocolate milk, it is not coffee. I do not drink coffee anymore. I used to drink, you know those Hall Polar Pops that you get at Circle K? I used to drink like 3 of them a day full of coffee. But not anymore. Now it's just chocolate milk, so. This is my Joyce Meyer mug. I got it at the Joyce Meyer conference when she came to Orlando, like, I don't even know how many years ago, like 7 years ago. And it's really cute though. It says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. I don't know if you can see that. I don't want to spill this because it's like full. And I try to use, because like I didn't want to leave just like a little bit of milk in there. So the last of the milk. Anyways, I love this mug. So anyways, we are technically on January 14th, but we are going to read January 14th and 15th, and I'm going to skip like the Matthew and the Proverbs and the Psalms, and I'm going to go like Genesis and then Matthew. So it's kind of like flows better, like the story part, you know what I mean? And that should get us back caught up, because we should be like one day behind, right? Like the 14th, the 15th should go up on the 16th, the 16th should go up on the 17th, right? That's how, I don't know how we got a day behind, but that's how it's supposed to be. So in case you missed it yesterday, Jacob went to his father's homeland and he met Rebecca, his wife, but he also met Rachel, his second wife. They are technically his cousins, but you know what I mean? That's neither here nor there. And I guess it probably is somewhere, but you know what, it's the Bible. I'm not here to question it, you know what I mean? Okay, that's not true either. I think you should question things, but you know, I don't know. Again, if you came here for answers, I would make it very clear I don't have them. So, you know what I mean? That's basically where we're at. So anyways, with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Let's see what's going on. We are on Genesis chapter 30 verse 1 through chapter 31 through 16. And I'm going to give y'all a minute to find it because I hate when I'm in church and like they'll tell you the passage and you're like trying to hurry up and like rush to find it, and then they start singing, or like not singing. What am I talking about? I feel like I'm so scatterbrained. They will hurry up and start preaching the sermon and you haven't even found the verses yet. Like, it's so annoying. Like, can you give me just 1 second, please? That'd be cool. Yeah, so okay, did everybody find him? Okay, cool. So let us begin. When Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children for Jacob, she became jealous of her sister. Told you, jealousy also runs in this family. Rebecca was it Rebecca? Abraham's wife also was jealous of her servant because she made her servant have a baby, and then she got jealous that she had a baby. So jealousy is a common theme in this family. When Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children for Jacob, she became jealous of her sister. She pleaded with Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Then Jacob became furious with Rachel. "Am I God?" he asked. "He's the one who has kept you from having children." Then Rachel told him, "Take my maid Bilhah and..." Not again. No, I know how this, like, we know how this ends. It just, like, y'all, I cannot make this up. Like, I'm not even kidding. Do y'all not remember? It literally was day, like, I think 8 or something. It was the one I did with the Draw My Life. And are you serious? Okay, so it was day 7, chapter 16 verse 4. So Abram had sexual relations with Hagar. Abram is Abraham. And she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress Sarai with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abraham, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, and now she's pregnant. She treats me with contempt. The Lord will show you who's wrong, you or me." Okay, hold up. I'm all wrong. So Sarai, who became Sarah, was not jealous of the servant. The servant became pregnant, and then she started acting funny towards Sarai. So that was my fault. I misread it because the way that it's written is a little confusing, because she began to treat her mistress Sarai with contempt. The mistress, I was assuming, was the servant, you know what I mean, like mistress, like the other woman. I thought that she was saying that she treated the other woman with contempt, but that's not what she was saying. And the reason why Hagar ran away, because she was being crappy towards Sarah. So Sarah was like, you're not about to be snappy with me, ma'am. And so she like started treating her more harshly, and that's why Hagar ran away. Okay, so that's a fun fact. You know what I mean? Well, now I kind of feel bad because I didn't like Sarah this whole time, because I thought if Sarah's, you know what I mean, she's already, her chapter's over, but I didn't like her because I thought that she was like being mean to Hagar and her son, because there's another point, I think it was like day 11, where Hagar and her son got like cast out because Sarah was mad at Hagar, and so then they were like wandering the desert or whatever, and that also made me upset because I'm like, what is the problem with this Hagar lady? Like, you made her have a baby and like you're just like not being very nice to her at all. But really, I just went back and reread that Hagar's son was making fun of Isaac, and that's why Sarah didn't want her and her son around him. Y'all, there's too many, it's not that there's too many people, but there's a lot of people and a lot of name changes. Just bear with me. I'm trying to keep up too, okay? But again, we're sleeping with the maid. So I like, that is a common theme. You know what I mean? I did get that part right. It is a common theme that they sleep with the maids, but maids are not mistresses. Mistresses are the owners. So, geez Louise. So then Rachel told him, take my maid Bilhah and sleep with her. She will bear children for me, and through her I can have a family too. So Rachel gave her servant Bilhah to Jacob as a wife, and he slept with her. Bilhah became pregnant and presented him with a son. Rachel named him Dan, for she said, God has vindicated me. He has heard my request and given me a son. Then Bilhah became pregnant again and gave Jacob a second son. Rachel named him Naphtali, for she said, I have struggled hard with my sister and I'm winning. Meanwhile, Leah realized that she wasn't getting pregnant anymore, so she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Soon Zilpah presented him with a son. Leah named him Gad, for she said, how fortunate I am. Then Zilpah gave Jacob a second son, and Leah named him Asher, for she said, what joy is mine. Now the other women will celebrate with me. One day during the wheat harvest, Reuben found some mandrakes growing in a field and brought them to his mother Leah. Rachel begged Leah, please give me your son's mandrake. Isn't that the thing from Harry Potter? Screaming mandrakes. That's the thing from Harry Potter. That was a crossover nobody saw coming. Alright, I'm gonna go. But Leah angrily replied, wasn't it enough that you stole my husband? Now will you steal my son's mandrakes too? Rachel answered, I will let Jacob sleep with you tonight if you give me some of the mandrakes. So that evening, as Jacob was coming home from the fields, Leah went out to meet him. You must come and sleep with me tonight, she said. I have paid for you with some mandrakes that my son found. So that night he slept with Leah, and God answered Leah's prayers. She became pregnant again and gave birth to a fifth son for Jacob. She named him Issachar, for she said, God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband as a wife. Then Leah became pregnant again and gave birth to a sixth son for Jacob. She named him Zebulun, and she said, God has given Bulun. That's the man's name. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. God has given me a good reward. Now my husband will treat me with respect, for I have given him 6 sons. Later she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Oh, Dinah from Orange is the New Black. Then God remembered Rachel's plight and answered her prayers by enabling her to have children. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. God has removed my disgrace, she said, and she named him Joseph. For she said, may the Lord add yet another son to my family. Soon after Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, please release me so I can take home to my own country. Let me take my wives and children, for I have earned them by serving you, and let me be on my way. You certainly know how hard I have worked for you. Please listen to me, Laban replied. I have become wealthy, for the Lord has blessed me because of you. Tell me how much I owe you. Whatever it is, I'll pay. Jacob replied, you know how hard I've worked for you, and how your flocks and herds have grown under my care. You had little indeed before I came, but your wealth has increased enormously. The Lord has blessed you through everything I've done. But now, what about me? When can I start providing for my own family? What wages do you want? Laban asked. Jacob replied, don't give me anything. Just do this one thing, and I'll continue to tend and watch over your flocks. Let me inspect your flocks today and remove all the sheep and goat that are speckled and spotted, along with all the black sheep. Give these to me as my wages. In the future, when you check on the animals you have given me as my wages, you'll see that I have been honest. If you find in my flock any goats without speckles or spots, or any sheep that are not black, you will know that I have stolen them from you. Alright, Laban replied, it will be as you say. But that very day Laban went out and removed the male goats that were streaked and spotted, all the female goats that were speckled and spotted or had white patches, and all the black sheep. He placed them in the care of his own son, who took them a 3 days journey from where Jacob was. Meanwhile, Jacob stayed and cared for the rest of Laban's flocks. I don't understand why he's still working for him anyways, because he was always supposed to work with him or work for him for 14 years. I guess maybe, but I mean, by the time you've had like how many sons has he had now? He's had like 8 sons. You know what I mean? And he's already married both daughters, so his time had to have been up. I don't understand why he's still working for him. Then Jacob took some fresh branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees and peeled off strips of bark, making white streaks on them. Then he placed these peeled branches in the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink, for that was where they mated. And when they mated in front of the white streaked branches, they gave birth to young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Jacob separated those lambs from Laban's flock, and at mating time he turned the flock to face Laban's animals that were streaked or black. This is how he built his own flock instead of increasing Laban's. Whenever the stronger females were ready to mate, Jacob would place the peeled branches in the watering troughs in front of them. Then they would mate in front of the branches, but he didn't do this with the weaker ones, so the weaker lambs belonged to Laban, and the stronger ones were Jacob's. As a result, Jacob became very wealthy with large flocks of sheep and goats, female and male servants, and many camels and donkeys. But Jacob soon learned that Laban's sons were grumbling about him. Jacob has robbed our father of everything, they said. He has gained all his wealth at our father's expense. And Jacob began to notice a change in Laban's attitude toward him. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your father and your grandfather and to your relatives there, and I will be with you. So Jacob called Rachel and Leah out to the field where he was watching his flock. He said to them, I have noticed that your father's attitude towards me has changed, but the God of my father has been with me. You know how hard I have worked for your father, but he has cheated me, changing my wages 10 times. But God has not allowed him to do me any harm. For if he said, the speckled animals will be your wages, the whole flock began to produce speckled young. And when he changed his mind and said, the striped animals will be your wages, then the whole flock produced striped young. In this way, God has taken your father's animals and given them to me. One time, during the mating season, I had a dream and saw that the male goats mating with the females were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Then in my dream, the angel of God said to me, Jacob, and I replied, yes, here I am. The angel said, look up and you will see that only the streaked, speckled, and spotted males are mating with the females of your flock. For I have seen how Laban has treated you. I am the God who appeared to you at Bethel, the place where you anointed the pillar of stone and made your vow to me. Now get ready and leave this country and return to the land of your birth. Rachel and Leah responded, that's fine with us. We won't inherit any of our father's wealth anyways. He has reduced our rights to those of foreign women, and after he sold us, he wasted the money you paid for him for us. All the wealth God has given you from our father legally belongs to us and our children. So go ahead and do whatever God has told you. And now we are continuing. I think it literally just continues. It does. So this is 31:16 or 31:17 for January 15th. So Jacob put his wives and children on camels, and he drove all his livestock in front of him. He packed all the belongings he acquired in Padan Aram and set out for the land of Canaan where his father Isaac lived. At the time they left, Laban was some distance away shearing his sheep. Rachel stole her father's household idols and took them with her. Jacob outwitted Laban the Aramean, for they set out secretly and never told Laban they were leaving. So Jacob took all his possessions with him and crossed the Euphrates River, heading for the hill country of Gilead. 3 days later, Laban was told that Jacob had fled, so he gathered a group of his relatives and set out in hot pursuit. He caught up with Jacob 7 days later in the hill country of Gilead. But the previous night, God had appeared to Laban the Aramean in a dream and told him, I'm warning you, leave Jacob alone. Laban caught up with Jacob as he was camped in the hill of Gilead, and he set up his camp not far from Jacob. What do you mean by deceiving me like this? Laban demanded. How dare you drag my daughters away like prisoners of war? Why did you slip away secretly? Why did you deceive me? And why didn't you say you wanted to leave? I would have given you a farewell feast with singing and music, accompanied by tambourines and harps. Why didn't you let me kiss my daughters and grandchildren and tell them goodbye? You have acted very foolishly. I could destroy you, but the God of your father appeared.
How together we can tackle the day.
Okay. Me too. You know what? Me too, TV. I love that we can tackle the day together. I'm so happy. I'm very happy about that, guys. Okay, I could destroy you, but the God of your father appeared to me last night and warned me. Leave Jacob alone. I can understand your feeling that you must go and your intense longing for your father's home, but why have you stolen my goods? I rushed away because I was afraid, Jacob answered. I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But as for your gods, see if you can find them and let the person who has taken them die. If you find anything else that belongs to you, identify it before all these relatives of ours, and I will give it back. But Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the household idols. Oh no. Oh no. Laban went first into Jacob's tent to search there, then into Leah's, and then the tents of the 2 servant wives. But he found nothing. Finally he went into Rachel's tent, but Rachel had taken the household idols and hidden them in her camel saddle, and now she was sitting on them. When Laban had thoroughly searched her tent without finding them, she said to her father, Please, sir, forgive me if I didn't get up for you. I'm having my monthly period. So Laban continued to search, but he could not find the household idols. Then Jacob became very angry, and he challenged Laban. What's my crime? He demanded. What have I done wrong to make you chase after me as though I were a criminal. You have rummaged through everything I own. Now show me what you have found that belongs to you. Set it out here in front of us, before your relatives, for all to see. Let them judge between us. For 20 years I have been with you, caring for your flocks, and all that time your sheep and goats never miscarried. And all those years I never used a single ram of yours for food. If any were attacked and killed by wild animals, I never showed you the carcass and asked you to reduce the count of your flock. No, I took the loss myself. You made me pay for every stolen animal, whether it was taken in broad daylight or in the dark of night. I worked for you through the scorching heat of the day and through cold and sleepless nights. Yes, for 20 years I slaved in your house. I told you it was longer than 14 years. I worked for 14 years earning your 2 daughters and then 6 more years for your flock. And you changed my wages 10 times. In fact, if the God of my father had not been on my side, the God of Abraham and the fearsome God of Isaac, you would have sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen your abuse and my hard work. That is why he appeared to you last night and rebuked you. Then Laban replied to Jacob, these women are my daughters, these children are my grandchildren, and these flocks are my flocks. In fact, everything you see is mine. But what can I do now about my daughters and their children? So come, let's make a covenant, you and I, and it will be a witness to our commitment. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a monument. Then he told his family members, gather some stones. So they gathered stones and piled them in a heap. Then Jacob and Laban sat down beside the pile of stones to eat a covenant meal. To commemorate the event, Laban called the place Jegar Sadoth, which means witness pile in Aramaic, and Jacob called it Galilee, which means witness pile in Hebrew. Then Laban declared, this pile of stones will stand as a witness to remind us of the covenant we have made today. This explains why it was called Galeed, witness pile, but it was also called Mizpah, which means watchtower. For Laban said, may the Lord keep watch between us to make sure that we keep this covenant when we are out of each other's sights. If you mistreat my daughters or if you marry other wives, God will see it even if no one else does. He is a witness to this covenant between us. See this pile of stones, Laban continued, and see this monument I have set between us? They stand between us as witnesses of our vows. I will never pass this pile of stones to harm you, and you must never pass these stones or this monument to harm me. I call on the God of our ancestors, the God of your grandfather Abraham, and the God of my grandfather Nahor to serve as a judge between us. So Jacob took an oath before the fearsome God of his father Isaac to respect the boundary line. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice to God there on the mountain and invited everyone on a covenant feast. After they had eaten, they spent the night on the mountain. Laban got up early the next morning and he kissed his grandchildren and his daughter and blessed them. Then he left and returned home. As Jacob started on his way again, angels of God came to meet him. When Jacob saw him, he exclaimed, this is God's camp. So he named the place Mahanaimah. Then Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau, who was living in the region of Seir, the land of Edom. He told them, give this message to my master Esau. Humble greetings from your servant Jacob. Until now I have been living with Uncle Laban, and now I own cattle, donkeys, flocks of sheep, and goats, and many servants, both men and women. I have sent these messengers to inform my lord of my coming. Hope that you will be friendly to me. If y'all don't remember, if you didn't come yesterday, Esau was gonna kill Jacob because Esau tricked their dad, Isaac, into giving Esau the blessing that Jacob was technically kind of supposed to receive, but not really, because God wanted the blessing to go to Esau, and so Esau was going to kill him. After delivering the message, the messengers returned to Jacob and reported, we met your brother Esau, and he is already on his way to meet you, with an army of 400 men. Jacob was terrified at the news. He divided his household along with the flocks and herds and camels into 2 groups. He thought, if Esau meets one group and attacks it, perhaps the other group can escape. Then Jacob prayed, O God of my grandfather Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, you told me, return your own land and your relatives, and you promised me I will treat you kindly. I am not worthy of all the unfailing love and faithfulness you have shown to me, your servant. When I left home and crossed the Jordan River, I own nothing except a walk stick. Now my household fills 2 large camps. O Lord, please rescue me from the hand of my brother Esau. I am afraid that he is coming to attack me along with my wives and children. But you promised me, I will surely treat you kindly, and I will multiply your descendants until they become as numerous as the sands along the seashore, too many to count. That's going to be interesting to see how that meeting goes, I think. I wonder if Esau is like still mad at Jacob for what he thinks is stealing his blessing, but he wasn't stealing his blessing. Okay, so now we are on Matthew chapter 10, verse 1 through 23, and then we're going to go straight into Matthew chapter 10, verse 24 through 11, 6. And so that's going to be, again, like one right after the other, but I'm going to dance party while you find it, if you're reading along, which I hope you are. Did you find it? Okay, cool. Somewhere in the dance party, I lost my page. Jesus called his 12 disciples together and gave them authority to cast out evil spirits and to heal every kind of disease and illness. Here are the names of the 12 apostles: First Simon, also called Peter. All I'm saying is I don't know why people have to have so many names. Like, I'm not trying to say like that or any type of way. Like, I love Jesus, I really do, and I know this is the Bible and there's a reason for everything, but I don't understand why all these people have to have so many different names, because it's so hard to keep up with everybody's name. There's just a lot of names. I mean, I don't know I don't know what to say, and everybody's name changes. So we've got Simon, who's really Peter, Andrew, who's Peter's brother, James, who's the son of Zebedee, John, who's James's brother, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon, and Judas Iscariot, who later betrayed him. So a lot of these I actually know who they are. Like, you hear about them. Like Simon, James, John, maybe, Matthew, Judas, of course. But I didn't even know Thaddeus was one of them, or Bartholomew, or Philip. I had no idea those were disciples at all. I don't know what that says about me, or, you know, it'll be interesting to see what they do compared to the others, because we've already, you know, if you have been to church at all, you've heard about, you know what I mean, like the well-known ones, you know. Jesus sent out the 12 apostles with these instructions. Don't go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans, but only to the people of Israel, God's lost sheep. Go and announce to them that the kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cure those with leprosy, and cast out demons. Give as freely as you have received. Don't take any money in your money belt. No gold, silver, or even copper coins. Don't carry a traveler's bag with a change of clothes and sandals, or even a walking stick. Don't hesitate to accept hospitality, because those who work deserve to be fed. Whenever you enter a city or village, search for a worthy person and stay in his home until you leave town. When you enter the home, give it your blessing. If it turns out to be a worthy home, let your blessing stand. If it is not, take back the blessing. But if any household or town refuses to welcome you or listen to your message, shake its dust from your feet as you leave. I tell you the truth, the wicked cities of Sodom and Gomorrah will be better off than such a town on the judgment day. Look, I am sending you out as sheep among wolves. So be as shrewd as snakes and harmless as doves. But beware, for you will be handed over to the courts and will be flogged with whips in the synagogues. You will stand trial before governors and kings because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell the rulers and other unbelievers about me. When you are arrested, don't worry about how to respond or what to say. God will give you the right words at the right time, for it is not you who will be speaking. It will be the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. A brother will betray his brother to death. A father will betray his own child. And children will rebel against their parents and cause them to be killed. And all nations will hate you because you are my followers. But everyone who endures to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one town, flee to the next. I tell you the truth, the Son of Man will return before you have reached all the towns of Israel. Students are not greater than their teacher, and slaves are not greater than their master. Students are to be like their teacher, and slaves are to be like their master. And since I, the master of the household, have been called the prince of demons, the members of my household will be called by even worse names. Don't be afraid of those who threaten you, for the time is coming when everything that is covered will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. What I tell you now in the darkness, shout abroad when daybreak comes. What I whisper in your ears, shout from the housetops for all to hear. Don't be afraid to those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Fear only God, who can destroy both soul and body in hell. What is the price of 2 sparrows? 1 copper coin? But not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. Everyone who acknowledges me publicly here on earth, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But everyone who denies me here on earth, I will also deny before my Father in heaven. Don't imagine that I came to bring peace to the earth. I came not to bring peace, but a sword. I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Your enemies will be right in your own household. If you love your father or mother more than you love me, you are not worthy of being mine. Or if you love your son or daughter more than me, you are not worthy of being mine. If you refuse to take up the cross and follow me, you are not worthy of being mine. If you cling to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me, you will find it. Anyone who receives you will receive me, and anyone who receives me receives the Father who sent me. If you receive a prophet as one who speaks for God, you will be given the same reward as a prophet. And if you receive righteous people because of their righteousness, you will be given a reward like theirs. And if you give even a cup of cold water to one of the least of my followers, you will surely be rewarded. When Jesus had finished giving these instructions to his 12 disciples, he went out to teach and preach in towns throughout the region. John the Baptist, who was in prison, heard about all the things that Messiah was doing. So he sent his disciples to ask Jesus, "Are you the Messiah we've been expecting, or should we keep looking for someone else?" Jesus told them, "Go back to John and tell him what you have heard and seen. The blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cured, the deaf hear, the dead are raised to life, and the good news is being preached to the poor. And tell him, God blesses those who do not turn away because of me." He said, "Don't imagine I came to bring peace to the earth. I came not to bring peace. I came to bring a sword." He said, "Hi. How is everybody doing? How are we all doing today? Oh, y'all thought y'all were slick? Hi. You're not. How are you doing? No, but I love Jesus. I really do. Cause you want to know something, even that's like, I know that like some people might think like, oh, that seems like a bit dramatic, but you want to know something, like it is dramatic. Like think about like the person who like you love like the most in your life, right? Like your boyfriend, your mom, your sister, your, you know, whatever, whoever you love, you know what I mean? Whoever is just like your baby, your kid, like just your heart and soul. And then just imagine that you've come to the earth with the purpose of saving these people. And in order to save these people, you're eventually gonna have to die. Now imagine that, and imagine how much love it probably takes to have to go through that. And I think like sometimes whenever you take that into perspective, it just makes it seem so much more like less dramatic and more like love. You know what I mean? And now we're on Psalm chapter 12, verse 1 through 8. And then next we'll go to Psalm chapter 13, verse 1 through 6. I think those should be like right beneath each other. But dance party while you find the verse. 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 Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. Now let's help, O Lord, for the godly are fast disappearing. The faithful have vanished from the earth. Neighbors lie to each other, speaking with flattering lips and deceitful hearts. May the Lord cut off their flattering lips and silence their boasting tongues. They say, we will lie to our hearts' content. Our lips are our own, who can stop us? The Lord replies, I have seen violence done to the helpless, and I have heard the groans of the poor. Now I will rise up to rescue them as they have longed for me to do. The Lord's promises are pure, like silver refined in a furnace, purified 7 times over. Therefore, Lord, we know you will protect the oppressed, preserving them forever from this lying generation, even though the wicked strut about and evil is praised throughout the land. O Lord, how long will you forget me? Forever? How long will you look the other way? How long must I struggle with anguish in my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? Turn and answer me, O Lord my God. Restore the sparkle to my eyes, or I will die. Don't let the enemies gloat, saying, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. I know that's right. Period, poo. I'm not about to cry, you are. It was verse 5 that got me. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you've rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. Because I don't know about y'all, but you know what I mean? Maybe like you're just here and you know what I mean for, I don't know. You know what I mean? But if you're here and God has ever rescued you of anything, like it's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like when I think about it, like when I just like stop and think about like everything that God's brought me through and like it make like it does, because it's like not even like why, you know what I mean? Like for what? Like what did I do to deserve that? You know, I didn't do anything is the truth of the matter. I didn't do anything at all, and he just did it. He just did it because for nothing, you know what I mean? There was no reason. There was no reason, and he just did it. And for what? You know what I mean? Like for why? Anyways, I'm not gonna cry on the internet again. I've already done that once and I'm not doing it again in this video. So I do plan on, I try to make story times on my other channel, and I do plan on probably doing it over here, but I want it to be more of like my testimony, and that's what those were originally supposed to be, but I didn't know if people would want to watch them because they were, if I tried to, you know what I mean, talk about God and you know what I mean, so I try to make it more interesting or not, you know, do it like that as much. But I like this channel, and I'm glad that I have this channel now because I feel like it's okay to say it like that, you know what I mean? And if you can listen to everything that's God's brought me through and just, I mean, I don't even know, does that kind of sound narcissistic? Like, I'm not living proof that God's real. Like, I don't know what is. Like, it's, if y'all would have known me, like, pre-God, like, y'all would be like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, what? Is she okay? Like, is she fine? Like, and the answer was no, because I wasn't fine. There was nothing about me that was fine, you know? But I'll talk about that on another day. I know this video is long, so I'm going to try to shut up now. So we're on Proverbs 3:13 through 15. And then we're going to, not Proverbs, it is Proverbs 3:13 through 15. And then we'll go to 3:16 through 18. Dance Dance party while you find the verse. 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 Did you find it? Okay, cool. Joyful is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding, for wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. She, wisdom, offers you long life in her right hand and riches and honor in her left. She will guide you down delightful paths. All her ways are satisfying. Wisdom is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Happy are those who hold her tightly. And that is it for days 15 and 16. My foot is asleep, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna end this, but did y'all see, never mind, if you didn't see it, there was a spider in my last video, and nobody, if you can find the spider, first you had to make it to the end of this video, but if you can find the spider in my last video, I will, and comment the timestamp, I will send you a, like, I guess $25 Amazon gift card. I should have said the first person that finds and comments a timestamp, I will send a $25 gift card. I cannot send everybody and their mom a $25 gift card. Do you know what I mean? I'm not rich. Hi. So yeah, just to like clarify what I'm saying. So I will send you a Amazon gift card because when I watched it back, I edited that video really quick last night and I didn't even watch it back. Like I just edited, I was like, all right, like it's done, because my computer was freaking out and I was like, I don't have time for this. So I edited it really quickly. When I watched it back, like while, like after it uploaded, I was like, oh my gosh, like I did not even know that it was there. Like it freaked me out so bad. I did find it earlier before I started filming, but oh my gosh, it scared me, bro. Like I was scared, like watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna get me, even though I knew like I had already been through it. Like it didn't get me, but yeah. With that being said, I'm going to end this video now. It is my day off, so I'm going to binge watch some Disney Plus before I cancel my membership in 2 days, because I don't watch it. I haven't watched it once. I got it when it came out. I haven't watched it once. I'm not really sure why I still have it. I'm paying for it. But I know once I cancel it, then I'll want to start watching things. So I'm going to try to binge watch some things before I actually cancel it, if that makes sense. But, alright. I love you. Jesus loves you. Bye!